Hello and welcome to the second part of when to use the present perfect tense and when to use the past simple tense. If you would like to watch the first part, then click the link here somewhere. Okay, so we've talked about the first and the second rules of when to use these two tenses. Now let's look at rules 3 and rule 4. So rule 3 is all about an action which started in the past but continues into the present. This is when we use the present perfect tense. For example, I have lived in London my whole life. I have lived in London my whole life. I use the present perfect tense here because this action started in the past and continues into the present. If I lived somewhere else in my life and then that action stopped, then I would use the past simple. For example, I lived in Buenos Aires for 6 months, but then I stopped. I moved back to London, for example. Another example, I have known my best friend for 10 years. I have known my best friend for 10 years. Here, I use the present perfect tense because I still know my best friend. But if I want to talk about the specific moment in the past where I met him, then I use the past simple. I met my best friend 10 years ago. That is an action which finished a long time ago, the action of meeting somebody. So that's rule number 3. And the final rule is, well, this is all about connection to the present. So is there a result in the present? This is probably the rule which people find the most difficult to understand. But you have to think, is there a result in the present? So let me give you an example. I have lost my keys. I have lost my keys. Here, I use the present perfect tense because there is a result in the present. That result is, I can't find my keys. I can't get into my house. I'm panicking. I have lost my keys. Help. Whereas if I use the past simple tense, I lost my keys, then there is no result in the present. The result was in the past. Maybe I found my keys yesterday, or I got a new pair of keys. So I use the past simple. I lost my keys. Another example, say I am cooking, I'm chopping vegetables, and then I cut my finger. I go into the next room where my friend is and I say, I've cut my finger. I'm in a lot of pain. I've cut my finger. So I use the present perfect tense because, again, there is a result in the present. I'm in pain. My finger is bleeding. I need help. If the action happened yesterday, for example, and there is no result in the present, then I would use the past simple. So the next day, I'm with my another friend, and they see my finger, and I've got a plaster on, and they say, "What happened?" And I would say, "I cut my finger." This is in the past because there is no result in the present. The result was in the past. I was in pain. I put a plaster on, and now we're in the present, a different time. So there you have it. Those are the 4 rules of when to use the present perfect tense and when to use the past simple tense.